If I could go back and do it all again. Yeah, I'd remember what I only realise now later in life, that achievement for others is overrated. Achievement was always something we did for the approval of our parents, teachers, bosses, friends, or others. The things I wanted to do were not considered a good idea for fear of starving in a non-mainstream profession. But achieving something solely for the affirmation from others makes it very meaningless for yourself. You don't notice it necessarily when you're young, but you see it when you're older and feel that you didn't get to achieve the thing you really wanted, and now time is running out. The wisdom in all this is that to achieve things for yourself is to not regret it, because you'll always wonder what would have been if you don't try. It's one of the hardest things to do, to go deep into something when it isn't popular. You do consider money and livelihood when you're younger, but that is precisely the time that the world is more accepting and lenient towards the young in experimenting with new ideas than when compared to the old who want to experiment. But unless you go into it, you won't reap from it. It takes time to see something come to fruition, no matter the internet age. But if you don't go into it out of your interests in doing so, no one might ever get to see it or know it the way you do. The way you find it so attractive or interesting that drew you in the first place will be what sustains you to keep staying at it, because it will take time to see how it blossoms. When you decide to achieve something in an area that brings light to it in your style, is like a unique filter that you pass a topic or idea through that can potentially make an ordinary, mundane thing feel not only meaningful but worthwhile for someone else and eventually the general public to be persuaded. People's lives are usually boring. Subjects like, say, for example, math and science are commonly considered boring. But when you spend the time to showcase your life or the subjects you're interested in without worrying about what others would think, there is the real possibility of bringing due attention, not undue attention, to yourself that only validates yourself further, but you have to really love it in a way that's crazy enough to ignore any criticism of it and any doubts about the long haul of it, because that is what it will take. What makes it unique and more valuable is the way you decide to explore something in a particularly deep way, to become a kind of expert in it, to then reuse it in a new way that makes others who would normally unaware of it to care about it. But it has to be something you feel great conviction for, because it is what will drive you to share it with genuine purpose. All of a sudden, what nobody cared about gets adequate attention. If you don't give in to the ratings and the algorithms, then to just stay serious about the thing you want to achieve, you will eventually accumulate more achievement if you keep in it for people to notice. We each have different interests, which is a great excuse not to ignore all those ideas or subjects which are not mainstream. You'd have to really believe in what you see, your vision, to disregard what others, even your closest friends and family, say about you or your idea and just follow your own nose. It might even seem totally wrong because of how those around you react for a while, or the market doesn't provide positive cues to your idea. But if the ultimate vision is strong enough, the means can be changed to justify the ends. It means you eventually want to see it through to the end, even if you have to change tactics to get there and then evaluate. Aging well in this age doesn't mean to ignore what is popular, but it does sometimes mean you're going against what is the mainstream. But what is mainstream changes, and what you may be doing may be before it is naturally brought to the mainstream, so sometimes you do have to trust your instincts. When you achieve something in an area that no one would have ever considered even worth getting into, and you make it interesting or bring enough attention to it, you create changes in the marketplace of what people might have thought about on that subject. And in the very least, you bring on new believers to your way of thinking. Bringing into the consciousness of the masses something you have uniquely explored as your own is what makes you a new expert of a kind in that very thing, and it brings an achievement you can call your own for yourself, because it wasn't done the narrowly conventional way, which might not even have explored it at all. Making others interested or attracted to your idea builds a different community whose eyes have been opened to a topic which has been viewed in a new way, presented by your deep interest and drive in going into it against trends. The lesson of aging is to not get discouraged or feel aimless in always have to shift your goals and achievements based on whatever suits the general public. If something really compels you to go deep into a subject or idea that just isn't being explored or addressed in a way that you see it, don't lose the drive to get into it and keep persevering in it. The best reward of all is the new achievement you've attained by creating interest in something that brings you validation too. This only then strengthens your own persistence to go out and achieve other different goals than the conventional ones. So go out there and achieve something you won't regret.